Congress, July 4, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States. And I'm passionate about this document because it brought together the United States of America. It established the bounds within which we live in liberty and outside of which we will experience tyranny. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, to assume among the powers of earth the separate and equal station of which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. And the laws of nature and nature's God is the idea that the moral law, that the physical law is the natural law is the physical manifestation of the moral law, which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires them that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. And these are the values that allowed a nascent backwater to stand up against the greatest empires in the world. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute a new government, laying its foundations on such principles, the previous principles, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Happiness is not frivolity, but seeking the best good for yourself and your own individual sovereignty. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind is more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms which they are accustomed. But when by a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under the absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such a government and provide new guards for the future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such now is the necessity which constrains them to alter the former system of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having direct object at the establishment of absolute tyranny over the United States. To prove this, let the facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused to assent to laws, the most capital L, the laws of nature and nature's God, wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws, the laws of nature and nature's God, again, of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation until his assent should be obtained. And when suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws in accordance with the laws of nature and nature's God for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people should relinquish their right to representation in their legislature. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual and uncomfortable. He has dissolved the representative houses repeatedly. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies. That would be probably the equivalent of the alphabet soup. He has affected to render the military independent and civil power. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to read that. We have a lot of disagreements, but this is the document that brought us out of being a nascent backwater. We're approaching 250
DeGraaf,
years.
You have 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have. These are the values that brought us forward. These are the values. These are the bounds within which great studied men and leaders of this country determined and found from the study of history that we can live inside of liberty and individual sovereignty, and outside of which there is tyranny. And that is why we fight for these values. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative.